welcome to ECHE Music TV, where we provide tips, tools, techniques, and resources to help you grow your music ministry. Today on this show, I am going to be talking about being organized. But before we get to that, we're going to talk to Daniel Sanchez of Digital Music News to find out what's happening in the music industry. So to start off our show today, we're going to start with a song called Hallelujah, sung by Alicia Bender and written by Ben Harrell. So we'll be right back after this song.
I'm standing here, wondering how, wondering why you saved me. All the things I said, the things I've done, you know my past, and I'm not worthy, but I thank you. Time, I'm amazed you love me. For all the times I failed and broke your heart, you've been right there. You said you won't leave me, but I thank you for a chance. I thank you for your love to face another day. 'Cause on my own I'd be afraid. And I love you. Yes, I love you. For all the things you've done, you know I have to say
Welcome back. You're watching ECHE Music TV. I'm your host, Simone Henry. Now we're going to go to an interview I did with Daniel Sanchez of Digital Music News. We're going to talk about what's happening in the music industry, things that you should know. So let's roll that video. Welcome again, Daniel Sanchez, to ECHE Music TV. Thank you for being here with me today.
Not a problem. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about some news that's happening in the music business and I
Sure.
guess in general in the music world. So a big story this week was Aretha Franklin had passed and her funeral and everything. So the first story is about Aretha Franklin's home. There's 45 days left to restore her home. What's that story about?
Well, per a ruling from Shelby County Environmental Court Judge Patrick Dandridge, the city of Memphis has until October 16th to preserve Aretha Franklin's childhood home. Now, this home is located in South Memphis. And she was born there. She was raised in the first 2 years of her life. But once she turned two, her family left that home. And unfortunately, it reminds me a lot of what happened with Rosa Parks' childhood home. It was dilapidated. It was not taken care of, abandoned, and people have made a very, very strong effort to restore that home. So Patrick Dandridge, the judge, he said, you know what, I'll give the city of Memphis, which are now the rightful owners of the childhood home, I'll give you until October 16th to fix it up, to get everything working. Otherwise, we're going to have to demolish it.
Oh, wow.
And of course, especially following what happened with Aretha Franklin, her passing, her unexpected passing, well, the judge had originally ordered her house to be demolished in 2016. This was Judge Larry Potter who gave that order, but he stopped the order once volunteers managed to stabilize the structure because that home was in terrible condition. And
Mm.
now you have, for example, a GoFundMe page where you have people now rallying behind this call to restore the home. You have people donating dollars, getting people up and ready, say, hey, we have to preserve this. She's an icon of the Black community. She's an icon of the African American soul singing community here in the United States. And just like Rosa Parks was for the civil rights movement, we want this home to be preserved.
Oh, absolutely. I hope they absolutely they get it was preserved and that maybe it'll be open to the public and we can go and see it one day. That would
Yeah,
be nice.
that'd be
Okay, so
wonderful.
the next story on my list was about tourism in Tennessee. Now they are
Tennessee.
getting record tourism.
That's correct. So people still love to visit Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the centers, one of the foundations of the music industry here in the United States. So at the Musicians Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam, he revealed record figures from tourism in the state. We're talking $20.7 billion that the state received. And tourism is not only important, and you think when you think of Tennessee tourism, music tourism, you think, oh, Nashville. But actually, tourism has aided local government across all 95 counties. At
Oh,
least every single county uh, reported at least $1 million in direct visitor spending.
wow.
You have the David County led the music fuel tourism industry with $6.5 billion. Shelby County came in second place with 3.5 billion, and Sevier County with 2 billion. So you have people visiting music related icons, landmarks, hallmarks all over the states. And of course, this is a healthy revenue stream for the states.
That is very healthy. I was part of that this past weekend going to the CD Baby conference. And while I was there were three large concerts going on. Beyonce was there with Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, and Keith Urban
Mhm.
all in one weekend. It was amazing. Traffic was amazing too.
It sounds, oh yeah, traffic is always the best part of those events.
Right? um, okay, so I'm gonna go on to the music industry has a new tactic to fight Google. There's a love music campaign, hashtag love music. What's that about?
Hashtag love music. Well, this is actually a very, very broad topic. And so I'll do my best to summarize this one. What
Okay.
happened is um, Google, for years, with its YouTube video platform, for years, artists both overseas in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, especially here in the United States, now here, well, they've blamed Google for cheating the music industry from billions and billions of dollars in copyright royalties. So, one example is that Spotify and Apple Music pay in music royalties about $5.3 billion each year to the British music industry in royalties, for streaming the music.
Mhm.
Google has billions of streams. Google now has over 19 billion monthly visitors in its video platform, but they've only paid around what would it be, 670 million. So it's 856 million, actually, checking my data. So this is a big, they call that one the value gap.
The big
So what happened?
discrepancy.
A major, major, major discrepancy.
Mhm.
So the music industry has fought for years to update copyright laws, which Google has freely used to circumvent um, um, copyright royalty. Say, hey, wait a minute, we're paying the music industry, we're paying, but we don't have to pay as much because of Digital Millennium Copyright Acts here in the United States. Existing law said we don't have to pay that much, so we're not going to pay you guys that much. So this hashtag love music is a brand new effort ahead of a key copyright directive vote on September 12th, where the European Parliament will meet once again to decide whether or not to pass a new law that would force Google, Vimeo, YouTube, any user generated content platform, they must pay their fair shares in royalty. Now, they were defeated. Unfortunately, the European music industry was defeated in an earlier vote in July. You have critics from Microsoft, Wikipedia, Google, Yahoo saying, hey, these copyright laws, the only thing they're going to do is going to take down memes, they're going to take down everything. And it's the copyright directive, what the music industry wants. Basically, they want to censor you. Now the music industry is actually coordinating a strong effort to say, we're not going to censor memes, we're not going to censor artists, we're not going to censor original work. We just want Google, Vimeo, we want Facebook, everybody to pay their fair shares when an artist sings. And when you
Right.
upload music, a video with copyrighted music, that platform has to pay their fair share. Google has paid over 36 billion or $36 million, sorry, $36 million to basically sink this initiative. They were successful in July, and now on September 12th, what will happen? Will we see the copyright directive pass, which would force Google, Facebook, Vimeo to pay their fair shares of royalty, or will Google's lobbying efforts work? That's the big question of the day.
So is this big fight really only happening in Europe, or is this happening in the United States as well?
Unfortunately, right now the focus is in Europe. The music industry has been strong lobbying efforts in the United States. Right now, the battle has shifted to Europe. Right now, unfortunately, the battle is pretty much at a stalemate here. I wanted to correct myself. It looks like YouTube has over 1.8 billion users each month. I actually gave the wrong figure, so I'm sorry for that one.
That's okay. Well, thank you so much for telling us about this. And if anyone is interested in learning about the Love Music campaign, do hashtag Love Music on Twitter or Facebook, and there's lots and lots of posts about it. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being with us today. And we look forward to having you again next time. Thank you.
As always, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Welcome back. You're watching ECHE Music TV. I'm your host, Simone Henry. Thank you so much, Daniel, for catching us up on what's going on in the music industry. Definitely things that we should know. Now, we're going to take a break and we're going to listen to this wonderful cover of Won't He Do It by Delisa Hunter. We'll be right back.
Mm, all right. Uh, yeah. He said he would fight your battles for you. They gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back and be so amazed. How it turns out it's only his grace. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him at all times. Ain't nobody stopping my shine. They try to break me, try to take me out, but I got Jesus on my side. That's so bad I thought I would die. Ain't nobody stronger than the one that came and laid down his life. And I've got mountains to climb, but the enemy can't stop me, cause there's a calling on my life. So when I'm crying, don't last too long, cause he's gonna step in and make it alright. Won't he do it? He said he would, yeah. Fight your battles for you, they gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back and be so amazed. How it turns out it's only his grace. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him. So I trust him at all times. 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, yeah. So I trust him at all times. Just to take him at his word, yeah. So I trust him at all times. Just to rest upon his promise. Oh. So I trust him at all times. Just to know it was said by God. So I trust him at all times. Say, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Yeah. He said he would. Fight your battles for you, they gon' wonder how you sleep. Won't he do it? He said he will. Yeah. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back, yeah, and be so amazed. How it turned out. How it turned out is only his grace. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Yeah. He said he would. Do I have a witness? So I trust him at all times. Do I have a witness to say I will? So I trust him at all times. Anybody believe the word of the Lord? So I trust him at all times. So I trust him at all times. Yeah. So I trust him. So I trust him at all times.
Welcome back. This is ECHE Music TV. I'm Simone Henry, and we're going to talk today about getting organized as an artist. These are some tips that I put together and have heard some other people talking about in the last few weeks and months, and thought I would bring them to you. And my first tip is about your passwords. One, if you are an artist, and you, especially if you're with a manager or you're with a label, or you have people on your team who are managing your social media for you, it's very important that you maintain access to all of your online accounts, whether it's, you know, your social media accounts, or your SoundCloud, your Spotify, your CD Baby accounts, all of these different accounts. Whether you're doing them yourself, or whether you've given other people access to your accounts to maintain them for you, it is still very, very, very important to hold on to these passwords and make sure that you have access to everything. There's an artist that I know who is having trouble with some of these things, you know, and she doesn't have access to these things. Well, if she doesn't have access to her Spotify account, and then she goes and creates another one that she has access to, and then she puts music up there, well, now her Spotify account and her catalog is duplicated. So now, does she give people the link that her label is maintaining, or do you give people the link that you're maintaining? Which one are you going to give your fans? And which one are you going to be watching the stats on? Right? Because the stats are very, very important. Um, I had an artist who, years ago, who, when I had a digital download store, and he sent me his music, sent me his whole album to sell on the digital download store. Then years later, I had, shut down the store, moved on, did something else. I had a radio station, and he came to me and he said, "Hey, do you have that music I gave to you for that store? I don't have access to that music anymore." And I was a bit flabbergasted. Like, what? Why don't you have access to your own music? What is going on there? So it's very important to have access to these things. So this is my tip today. Get and use a service like LastPass, LASTPASS.com. You have one password to LastPass, and then it keeps a vault of all of your online passwords. So, say your label is maintaining some things, and your manager is maintaining some things, your social media person is maintaining your social media accounts. If you ever sever the relationship with those people, you can go into LastPass. Well, first of all, you can go into LastPass. It has the passwords in there. Log into those accounts. Change the password. It will be updated in LastPass, especially if you have the extensions in Chrome, in your Chrome browser. And then those people won't have the new password, but you'll still have access. It's very important that you maintain access to all your information. My second tip, an assets folder on your computer. This is extremely important when you're putting out a single or new album. It's important to create a folder and to keep all kinds of goodies in that folder relating to that single or that album. So you would put in promo photos of different sizes, your headshots of different sizes, waves and MP3 files. Your MP3s, of course, should be 320 kilobits per second. That's better than CD quality. And they should always have that metadata embedded. Your stems, your merch designs for reordering, text docs with album credits. You want to know and keep track of who did the production, who laid guitar, who did the drums, who was the engineer. In this digital age, we're kind of getting away from the liner notes, but those things are still very important. So it's important to keep those things. Keep a text doc with your lyrics in it. For so many independent artists, when I look up their music online, I'll Shazam it or something, and their lyrics aren't there. But it's still important for you to have your lyrics if people need them, if you want to make merch with lyrics on them. It's important to have your lyrics and to put those into the lyric databases. Keep your music videos and your behind the scenes videos in there. Just because you put out a video one day on social media doesn't mean that you can never use it again. So it's important to keep that information. And the reason why I'm talking about this assets folder and it's so important is because I remember a friend of mine was putting on a concert, and he had booked an artist for his concert, and he had a house band. The artist themselves wasn't bringing a band with him, so he asked the artist, "Please send me the songs that you're going to be singing. I'll give them to the band. The band will rehearse them, and so we'll be ready by the time you get here, and the concert will go on without a hitch." Well, for some reason, and this is an artist who performs just about every weekend. This is not new. But for some reason, this artist could not get him these files. So my friend ended up downloading the songs like off of YouTube or something to give to the band so that they'd be ready. This should not happen. You should have access to your information. It should be readily available, especially like, you know, when you're sending your MP3s and your WAV files for people to listen to them, they should be not only on your computer but also in Dropbox or something like that, so that you're not overloading people's inboxes with files and attaching files. Just send them the link to the song where they can download it themselves. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, now that you have your assets folder all set up and straight, you don't want to lose it in case something happens to your computer. I use a company called Carbonite, CARBONNITE.com. It's not expensive to back up my computer. Every year, it doesn't cost a whole lot, and it backs up like one hard drive. And this has come in really handy because I have had situations where my computer just died. And, you know, without Carbonite, I would have lost all my files. So, which would have been such a mess. So it's very important to have backups, keep duplicates in the cloud. And of course, your Carbonite password would be in your LastPass account as well, right? Now, this assets folder that I was talking about earlier is part of my album release roadmap. And if you'd like to get that album release roadmap for free, go to ECHEmusic.com, ECHEmusic.com/store, and use the promo code podcast, and you can get that for free. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. We're going to go out with the last song of the day, Your Love Is the Same by Shorelines. Now, see you next time.
When I try to hide from who you're making me, you've never left my side.
Thank you for watching ECHE Music TV. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss an episode. To receive the free gift mentioned in this episode or to have your song featured, please visit us at tv.echemusic.com.